Uh, this is Dave from Amplify, and I'm talking to the magnificent Chelsea Wolfe with an E. Uh, so, Chelsea, have you always wanted to be an artist? You know, when did you get the songwriting bug?
Yeah, pretty much from when I was a little kid. When I was growing up, my dad was playing in local country bands. He had his own, local country band, and so I was always exposed to music and, hearing them practice in a little home bedroom studio on the weekends. I kind of just started writing as well. I started with poetry and then asked my dad how to teach me on like a super simple setup. So yeah, long story. I started very early when I was like 9 or something like that. And kind of always knew that it's what I wanted to do, but I didn't get the confidence to do it until my early 20s, which is when I started playing shows.
In Sacramento? Did this start in Sacramento? So, you're born and bred Sacramento, eh? Or did you move around there?
Yeah. No, yeah, born and bred in
I,
Sacramento. Yeah.
I was there in the mid 80s, and for some reason, it was like a boring town for some reason. You know, it had some sort of stigma about being like Canberra is to us out here, you know, the corporate sort of city, and I'm sure that that's not the case, but you know, that's the biz that it had. So you started there, and basically you've done a lot of stuff. So in 25 words or less, you know, give us a bit of a précis about what you've done over the last 20 years. You know, if you were just sort of saying, right, well, and I did this,
Mm.
you know, I changed to become this and I evolved to become that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, my most recent album was my eighth album. So I put out a lot of music and I've gone through different incarnations of this band. It's always been me at the heart of it. Obviously, it's under my name. And then every few years, I sort of have like a big pool of musicians that I collaborate with, and sometimes I'll come in and out. Like a viola player, Ezra Bukla, for example, has kind of come in and out on a few different records. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really into following my intuition. So whatever I'm truly feeling drawn towards at any given time is what I will do musically. So I put out acoustic records and I put out super heavy records and electronic records. My most recent stuff is kind of a blend, but it is definitely more electronic leaning. And yeah, I've been touring a lot, releasing music pretty steadily.
So it's like, is it like you know you're playing any sort of park, or is it like an evolution towards somewhere? Are you sort of working through these different genres to end somewhere or to find something, or is it like you just like playing in different parks?
It's not like I'm taking from all over the place. I feel like there's some core elements. I grew up, like I said, kind of on country music, on old country and a little bit of blues and rock and roll. So I kind of feel like those are at the core of what I do, like folk music, country music, and rock music. But I also, when I was in high school, listened to a lot of like trip hop, Tricky and Massive Attack. So that's always kind of been like a strong influence for me as well. So I've always enjoyed blending the two, like doing heavy rock music, almost metal, but also bringing in a little bit of like trip hop element. And then um, at the end of the day, I always just love coming back to my acoustic guitar. So
I
yeah.
saw that Gothic, you know, been described as Gothic rock to metal folk. You know, if
Mhm.
someone said, "Give me your genre," what would you say is your predominant genre today?
I mean, I guess if I really had to categorize, I would just say like alternative because
Okay,
it's so many
that's
different
fine.
things. But
That's
but I
fine.
love the goth. I love the goth label because I think that can encompass so many different things these days.
I think so. Okay, inspirations. You know, do you have artists from that you grew up with that inspired you, or more so as you move through? You know, artists that in the last few years have inspired you. Who would you call your inspirations?
Mm. Yeah, like I said, grew up on, Townes Van Zandt, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Dolly Parton, Loretta Lynn. And then when I got a bit older, I really got into Fleetwood Mac. And so I think that they're definitely a big influence on me. I love all of their harmonies. I've always loved doing harmonies. And then, yeah, in high school, I started listening to more trip hop. And as I got older, got into like rock and metal more. So I don't know. Yeah, it kind of runs the gamut. But a lot of classic music, just coming from my parents and Joni Mitchell was a big influence on me growing up as well.
The Queen, the Queen. You know, again, you know, the old man knows it, but I mean, you know, a lot of people might not be as connected to how fantastic she was. Um, Now you said your latest album was your eighth. I thought so. She Reaches Out was last year. Is there one since last year? Is there?
No, I maybe I'm getting it wrong. I don't know, but no, that's my most recent one. I did do like an
Yeah.
acoustic version of
Okay.
it.
So it was released in 24, Feb 24. You've done a couple of EPs since. What are you pushing? Are you pushing the album? You're pushing the EPs? You're pushing what's coming
I,
up?
I would say the album, yeah, and then a bit of my past work as well.
Okay.
Um,
So
yeah,
that's what you basically this tour that's coming out. You'll basically be playing the album and a best and other great hits, other things that people would want to hear.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'll be a full band show, so we'll do some of the heavier ones as well. Yeah.
What are the signature tracks then on the album? If I was turning up to listen to Chelsea Wolfe, you know, what tracks would you direct me to
From the new record, you mean?
from the new record? Yep.
Yeah. My favorites are Whispers in the Echo Chamber, Dusk, and Ton of Lights.
They're the ones you like playing live as well. What do you like playing live?
Hmm.
They're the ones. Okay.
Yeah, I love doing Ton of Lights live. It's really fun to sing.
Okay, Chelsea Wolfe's latest album is a rebirth in process. It's a powerfully cathartic statement about cutting ties, as well as an important reminder that healing is cyclical and circular, and not a simple linear process. So please explain. You know, because ultimately, I'm a big conscious guy these days in my old age. So the moment and connection to the moment, and everything else is like a story. And so, you know, I think to really be somewhere, you've really got to detach from need. So you turn up to the moment, you know, fully available. And I think music, when you're creating, that's got to be better that way because you're turning up to a situation where you're not bound by the past, you're just walking into the future. And it sounds like in that statement that you live a bit of that. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that making this record taught me a lot of that, and I learned so much from writing these songs, and then learned even more from performing them. Um, yeah, I mean, the studio is it can be such a delicate place with a lot of different voices and energies and, desires and stuff. So yeah, I had to kind of learn through this process to make sure that I am honoring what the song really wants to be and not holding it to something just because, one person wants it to be something else and one person. So I was just really like letting the songs be what they wanted to be. And in that was being very present with the music. And I chose the producer, Dave Sidik, to work with because I felt like he was also kind of into that and into letting the songs transform and become something new. And it was a really interesting and cool process. Yeah.
So you sound delicate. Is that the way it is in the studio? Like are you moved by everybody else's view, or are you pretty strong and you say, this is where we're going?
Well, I guess I'm trying to say that like in the past, I think I have been a bit like, it's been difficult for me to really like deal with all the different voices and needs and everything. Um, but at the end of the day, this is my project and ultimately my vision. So yeah, I think I just tried to, I don't know, like I said, I don't want to feel like I'm controlling. And so in that way, I just wanted the songs to like breathe and again, transform. And um, I guess what I'm trying to say is not everyone was down to let the songs transform from where they were at the demo stage, which was a lot more like rock and heavy. And yeah, I was like just feeling the new energy that Dave Sidik was like starting to allow to breathe through them.
And thinking consciously, do you feel like you're pretty in tune with that, you know, the mind and where it can take you? Like have you evolved to a place where you're pretty comfortable with who you are, or you still battle with you know, most of the things that most humans battle with, ego and all that sort of stuff?
Right. No, of course. I do think I'm actually in a much better place now than I was when I started making this record. I mean, I finished recording this album in like early 2022. So been quite a while since I actually finished with this record. It just didn't come out for a couple more years because of multiple things. But um, so I've been living with this album for a long time, and like I said, learning from it. So I feel like I'm in a pretty different place. And I'm feeling a lot more comfortable in my own skin, a lot more comfortable with my voice and my writing skills. So I'm actually really excited to, work on what comes next.
It sounds like it was a COVID production, was it? Or
It was, yeah, all the demos were made during that time. So there's a lot of remote. And then once the world kind of opened back up, we were able to go be in the studio together.
we could talk for a few hours about what's happening in America and the way that it probably drives music creation, because you can't sort of live in
Mhm.
America and not be affected by everything that's taking place. And obviously, you write your music from experience. So that might be our next interview. I'll have a chat with you about what took place and how it drove you to the next album, which is when
Right.
the next album is coming.
I don't know yet. I've started writing it. So it's like in progress, but I'm not sure when it'll be ready.
Okay, you have a tour coming up, Australia, New Zealand in May 25, and lots of people out here waiting, obviously. What are you looking forward to? What can the fans expect?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to coming back. Speaking of COVID, last time I was there in 2022, a couple of my bandmates got COVID and had to stay behind, and I had to sort of go forward and rework the songs into an acoustic set. So I was just like up there by myself, which was interesting, but I kind of felt bad that I wasn't giving the full experience that I had sort of promised. So I really look forward to coming back with the full band and having that experience with everyone. So yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be a blast. Thinking about performance, if you could perform with any music artist, alive or dead, who would you choose and why? They'd have to be alive
Mm.
too. They wouldn't be dead when you're playing with them. Just a dead artist.
Well, if I was going to do a ghost performance, I would choose Towns Van Zandt because I love singing along with him. And I think alive, I would love to do a song with Nick Cave someday.
Nick Cave, I keep on thinking that you must be influenced by Dolly, because if you grow up on Dolly music at all, she's such a superstar in so many different ways throughout the whole business and music and creative, and then with Joni and what's her name, Linda Ronstadt, the trio and all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
Is she someone that stands out at all, or just another artist?
Which one? Sorry.
As in Dolly, because she's been such a superstar.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love Doll. I think she's such an icon because she's like makes gorgeous music, is so authentically herself, and she's also like a kind and generous person. So the
She,
way she's able to balance all of that is really amazing.
and the way she told the Colonel to get lost, Elvis isn't getting a record. That was a pretty big stage.
Hmm.
You know anything about
Totally, yeah.
and how you're influenced? Uh,
Yeah, that was a big move.
what long-term aspirations do you still have? Do you have any there lurking?
Yeah, I mean, I already have like the next three albums in my head, which I won't say what they are yet, but it's like I'm already so excited to do all of them. So there's so much more music that I want to make, and um, yeah, one of them is I'd really like to make a sort of like winter solstice, like not holiday album, but just like a very like winter themed, like Yule, witchy kind of themed album. I'm really looking forward to doing that at some point. Um, yeah, and then hopefully some more like film and score work at some point would be really fun.
Terrific. Okay. With that in mind, you've had 20 odd years now. What advice would you give to fans after you've lived through the, social media, TikTok age, streaming from CDs and all that sort of stuff? What advice would you give to artists starting out today?
I would say, I think I've probably said this before, but I think the thing that you feel like is maybe like weird or disconcerting about yourself as an artist is usually the thing that's going to be what breaks you through. So try to just,
Keep the faith.
embrace embrace the weirdness or whatever makes you feel like you're maybe a little bit embarrassed about. Like, I don't know, lean into that and that'll help you stand out.
Okay. What's the best thing about performing to a live audience?
Mm. I think the way that the songs transform in a live setting, um, even from night to night, but definitely like from the record, how they start to like take on a little bit of new life and you get more comfortable with singing them, so you get to experiment more. And I just really love the joy of singing and I try to focus on that. So that's the best part.
And the career highlight so far after such a long and varied, successful career?
I mean, the fact that I'm able to have this as a career and be able to wake up and write music is really the highlight. Just the
Every day,
simple
every day.
fact of that. I'm super grateful. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go through some quick questions now, and these are the ones that people hate most because they need you to come up with a quick answer. What's the craziest thing you've ever done?
Gosh, that is tough. I don't know. Maybe when me and Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age became blood brothers and like cut our hands and, smushed it together and became blood brothers.
He's a pretty cool blood brother, I tell you. What's the one topic you can talk about for hours?
Witchcraft.
Witchcraft. I can see that. What's the thing you like most about yourself?
Mm, I think that I like that one of my goals is to love and accept other people for who they are.
I think that's the quantum, really. We're all connected, and if you can do that, you've got a pretty good understanding of stuff. Okay, finish now on favorites. Favorite album can be all time, it can be today. It doesn't really matter.
I think Townes Van Sant self-titled.
Great artist. Favorite artist.
Oof, that is tough. I'm like a broken record. I'm like Townes Van Sant. I just
That's
love
all
him.
right. That's all right. There's no right answers. Favorite movie.
I know. I really love Portrait of the Lady on the Fire.
Never heard of it. I'm going to check it out. Favorite place to visit.
Norway.
A great place. I loved it up there. Midnight Sun.
Beautiful.
Favorite venue to play.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I don't know. I think I have yet to find it. I
Favorite.
think they're
Love
all
them
just,
all. You love them all. Favorite
yeah.
food.
Mm, ramen, probably.
Ramen's good. That's a favorite answer. Favorite drink.
Water. I don't know.
Thought you were going to say.
Um,
I thought you were going to say cat's blood or something like that. In the witchcraft.
oh
No.
no, I'll say hibiscus tea. How about that? It's like
Yeah, that's
more
that's
magical.
that's fine. Favorite person in history, apart from me.
Um,
They're really
yeah,
just discovery questions because they sort of pull something
that's
out
great.
and goes, "Wow, I didn't expect that," or something like that. You find out something about someone.
I know in history, I'm like drawing a blank, but I think like in modern history, I would say Patti Smith.
Okay, Patti Smith's fantastic. Now, we're just about to lose last question. Favorite tattoo? I can see you've got them there. What's your favorite?
I think it's actually just a simple one. It's these like I have three dried roses on my hand from my friend Caroline Vitelli in
An early,
Switzerland.
is that an early one or a late one?
It's like middle, you know, halfway through.
Namaste. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. We finished dead on
Mm,
time. That's
amazing.
impossible for me, I tell you. So thank you
Well,
very
that
much.
was a fun one. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a great tour and have a great life.
Thank you. All
All the
right, you
best.
too.
Bye
Take
bye.
care. Bye bye.